Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for tuning back in today. Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. And how are you doing? It's been a busy week, right? It's certainly been a very busy week this week here in Southern California. And if you're joining us on the replay, a big hello to you as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate that you get us a chance and checked us out today. And a special day. It's always a special day when you're here. I love it. Let's start with the market. Now, those of you who are watching are probably thinking, what in the world just happened to the financial markets? As if yesterday wasn't hard enough, they had to take you down yet even a few extra knots. The Dow closed down 681 points. Painful. But the NASDAQ closed down 357 points. The S&P down 89 points. This is what I would consider a total bloodbath day. Now, those of you who watch horror flicks, that's what happened. Today, we had a horrible day in the financial markets. The technology sector, in fact, led the broader market lower today as investors really started dumping big tech stocks, pushing also the Dow Jones and the S&P down. Goodness, on day. Really difficult day all across the board. In fact, we're seeing a lot of weakness on a lot of the big tech names and tech industry names that we've seen some time. They've benefited certainly from the last 5 years. You've seen these tech names such as Google and Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Facebook. A lot of people call them the fame stock group, but they definitely took a hit today. Now, some financial analysts are saying part of this reason is because, first off, with tax cuts, for those who are in the lower income brackets or staying at that level, but also saying that these tax increases that President Biden and his group are looking to bring to everybody else, raising the corporate tax rate from 28% to 28%, perhaps higher. How are companies going to survive? In fact, as you remember, currently, we're still with the Trump era corporate taxes of about 21%. So they're saying this is definitely going to impact not only efficiencies within the businesses themselves, but also future profitability, not only for shareholders, but the greater stock market as well. Obviously, this is a global economy and taxes go higher for U.S. businesses. How is this going to impact for everybody else? I mean, you think about it, it's not just the ultra wealthy and the biggest companies, but also all of us who are invested in the stock market, in our 401ks and our IRAs and our kids' accounts and everything else. So let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about that. Now, one thing I will say too is everybody is also very much concerned about jobs. And so you're seeing that trickle into the financial markets today. We were concerned about jobs and we're certainly concerned about inflation. But Goldman Sachs and economists believe that the surprising bleak April jobs report could partially be explained because of, the recent stimulus packages, which translated into not only stimulus checks, but also enhanced unemployment benefits for many Americans. The American Rescue Plan provided those who qualified unemployment insurance of an extra $300 per week, in addition to the state unemployment benefits. They're saying, well, if we're giving them all this incentive, the extra benefits because of the pandemic, what's the incentive to go back to work? I would say add to that, I think something that a lot of financial articles aren't mentioning is it's not just that they're receiving the enhanced unemployment benefit. But let's be honest, there's still a lot of families who are juggling with kids who are at home. So some parents can't go back to the full-time work hours. Also, and this is a big one, and I'm surprised it's not being talked about more in the financial markets. Let's be honest, a lot of employees don't want to go back to work as normal, and a lot of people are still concerned about this pandemic. We're still seeing record levels of cases in other parts of the world. Maybe not the United States. I mean, it seems like we've been having some good luck with higher vaccination rates. But as we continue to talk about this, it's a global pandemic. So what happens in other countries can certainly come back to the United States. So I think a lot of employees are sort of on that wait and see. We've enjoyed working from home, some of us, not all of us, right? And certainly we're concerned about inflation. We're also seeing gas prices almost reaching $3 a gallon, and some places are even running out of gas in different parts of the United States. And we're talking about higher taxes. We're talking about things costing a lot more. So there are a lot of reasons. And don't forget, the stock market has also done actually relatively well during this pandemic. And since 2008 and 2009, the market's been on not a complete upside trajectory, but it's actually done quite well. So having a pullback, having a correction, these things, this is not quite unexpected. But then let's talk about other things, right? How bad was it? Let's talk about the job market. The job market report recently was pretty bad. In fact, the U.S. economy created just about a little bit more than 266,000 jobs in April. But understand how big this is, because it was estimated that we would create over 1 million new jobs during that same period. So we actually missed that target by nearly 75%. So any way you paint this picture, there's a reason why people are not going back to work at the levels that the government is expecting us to go back to work. So what is the reason for that? Certainly something that needs to be better explained and needs to be displayed, because when people aren't working, right, they may not be bringing in the income that they're accustomed to, which means they probably aren't contributing to the economy as quickly as they could. And things need to be turned around, meaning that we need to earn so that we can spend and we can save and everything in between. Well, perhaps less people are working, maybe because more people are traveling. Who knows? I'm not convinced of that, but this we do know. Marriott CEO Tony Capuano today, he said that now that he's fully vaccinated for COVID-19, that he's definitely traveling for business again. And he's seeing that this summer, the travel boom is going to be in full force. He said these people are venturing back and getting their shots, and they're getting back to things as normal. I know it's certainly welcome news. I love to hear this. However, that being said, is that going to be the case? Are we going to continue to see people get back to normal? And are they going to be traveling versus working? I don't know. These are discussions that we continue to have, you and I, that we can continue to think about. Now, do you know that in March, they did see a larger, stronger demand in travel? In fact, they're seeing much better numbers than they have throughout the pandemic. And in countries in certain markets, such as China, which are sort of ahead of us in this pandemic, they're even seeing demand in travel. This is Marriott. Demand in travel has actually exceeded pre-pandemic levels. In fact, he says that business travel in China has become 5% above what it was in March of 2019. So that was pre-pandemic, already increasing in business travel. Now that's in China. I don't know about here in the United States, because the people that I've been speaking with are saying, you know what? I think we can get quite a bit of business done over the phone and via Zoom, and not that excited about getting back on a plane just yet for business, not personal. I said business, right? So we'll see. I'm curious to see what you all think, but here's what we're coming to do. And this is, I couldn't let you go through a day like this in the financial markets, plus yesterday as well, and not give you some tips on what you should do going forward now. So some questions that you might be thinking about, is what can we do when the market tanks like this? What moves should I be making? So here's some suggestions. On market dips, I want you to consider adding to your long-term financial goals. Now, this takes into consideration that, number one, you don't have credit card debt. You don't have excess amounts of consumer debt, right? And you have savings, you have emergency savings put aside, and you have excess money that you can deploy for yourself, your future financial goals. So if that's the case, consider adding to them, talking about not number one, Monday is May 17th. That's your IRA deadline for those of you who haven't filed your taxes yet, that you can still contribute into your traditional IRA or possibly your Roth IRA. You can always add and bump into your 401k or 457 or 403b at work as well. And here's a big one too. And this is really important because we've been talking a little bit about this week with a lot of parents. Also think about bumping up college savings for your children. I talked about this on Yahoo Finance on Monday. Super important topic, especially as we're going to summer. Sometimes you're thinking about all these things. You're thinking about vacation planning and I don't know, your child's birthday party and sometimes you forget. So this is a good reminder. When the market takes a big dip, if your children are still young, my kids are 12 and under, there's still time to be saving towards these important financial goals. So keep that in mind. Very important. Now, you also want to think about cutting down on your spending right now. This is a great time to tighten on your budget. Many of you have already done that. I'm really proud of you for doing that throughout the pandemic. But see if there's other levels that you can, because I know some of you have enjoyed a few extra luxuries that you deserve. But now take a look. This might be a good chance to tighten the budget a little bit, and what you tighten, get that reinvested into your long-term financial goals. If your goals are long, this is a good time to do it. The other thing is I would consider, thinking about if you have credit card debt, definitely pay more towards your credit card debt right now too. That's a great decision to make all year long, but especially right now. The other thing I would do is consider taking my LinkedIn learning course. I definitely want you to take a look at this. I actually made a course in partnership with LinkedIn titled How to Manage Your Money During a Financial Downturn. It's a great course to go through for what we're going through right now. I think you're going to find a lot of value in that. We'll make sure to share that with you in comments later after as well. But this is critical. This will give you some things that you can do, that you can ask for. I even have some worksheets in there so you can be proactively planning for yourself. There's a lot of things that you can do when the market retreats like this. And a lot of people take this course all year long, but it's especially meaningful as we're looking at so much financial volatility right now. Okay, next thing is obviously the last one is probably the most important. This is the time to seek out a financial advisor. This is the time. If you're not sure what to do, if you're a little concerned, maybe you're not concerned, maybe you're just not sure what to do, but you're like, I really want to, if the market starts to retreat and there's opportunities to build on my future financial goal, I want to do so. Seek out a financial advisor. And if you're not sure where to go, definitely check out an article I shared on Forbes recently on 10 ways to seek out your dream financial advisor. And definitely take a look at that. I think you'll find it very, very helpful. We're actually taking a ton of calls. So if you want to do that, definitely reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And after tax season, make sure also to make a meeting with your tax professional. Set up a plan, tax deductions, adjustments, all those good things. And just make sure you plan for the future. So this is an article I definitely want to put on your radar. You can see it. You can actually Google Forbes Winnie Sun. You can see all my articles on Forbes. Super helpful. I create them with you in mind. I put these articles together with things that I hear from you on social media, questions that come in, meetings that I have when I do corporations. I do talks at corporations all the time for their employees, as well as other financial workshops. And these articles are based on the questions that I get time in and time out. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Those are tools that we hope that continue to help you build and help you level up to that next level. So with that, thank you so much for watching, supporting our program. Please take a moment, like Vicky, to share this show with those that you care about. We appreciate it so much, Vicky. Appreciate so much all of you for tuning in. And as a reminder, you can find special full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. So be well. I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Take care now.